What's going on, people, and welcome back. Today we're talking Logic stock compressors. Now Logic gives you a whole array of decent compressors fresh out the box. So if you're someone that's looking to get into mixing or recording or producing and you have an Apple computer or a MacBook or whatever it is, Logic is a great DAW to start and learn in because you have so many great plugins in general, but specifically compressors fresh out the box. And I'm going to go through some of them for you right now and how you can use them and when you can use them. Now, many of you don't know this. I know I didn't, but up here is how you can switch between your compressors. So when you open up the compressor, this one pops up. And these buttons here allows you to switch through different compressors. Now, what I didn't know is all of these compressors are modeled after actual analog units. So they are emulations of actual analog units, which I think is pretty cool. Especially since most of the compressors I use and most of the compressors you see me use in my previous videos are just different versions of these very same compressors. But I'm going to go through them quickly with you now and help you understand how you can use them and, like I said, when you can use them. So the first compressor you get when you open up the compressor, I wonder how many times I'm gonna say compressor in this video, but the first one that comes up is this Platinum Digital, which is just a good all-round compressor. It's not modeled after anything, so this is just an original, like it says up here, an original Logic Pro compressor. So a bit boring in the grand scheme of this video, but like I said, it's a good all-round compressor if you just want to slap something on some vocals or, you know, drums or whatever it might be. But let's get to the good stuff, starting with this StudioVCA. Now it says here it's similar to the Focusrite Red compressor, a compressor that I think is really transparent and really clean. So if you ever just want to add just some light compression or you just want to get some dynamic control without adding too much of a character to it, this is a great plugin to do that. Great on like singing vocals. If you watch my guide to compressors video, which you'll see a card above at the top of your screen now, I talk about how I use this red compressor at the end of a chain if I just want a little bit more of that compressed sound or a little bit more of that dynamic control without actually giving it any kind of color or saturation. It does say colorful here, but I don't think it's that colorful, if I'm honest with you. Maybe they're saying that because it's literally red. They're saying it's colorful, but for me, it's quite transparent. I would use it at the end of my chain after I use a couple more compressors, just on like a 3-to-1 ratio, just doing like a light bit of compression, just to kind of round everything up a little bit. Moving on to the Studio FET, similar to the 1176 Blackface compressor, which, bruh, I always feel so awkward saying. I feel like they need to change that little nickname there. I don't know why they can't just call it the black version or black one, whatever. So we're going to stop saying Blackface over here on this channel. We're just going to call it the 1176 Black. This is a really colorful and a really, I don't know what the word is, but it's a very aggressive compressor, I would say. Good for rap vocals, good for drill vocals, because it's got a lot of body. It's going to put a lot of body onto your vocal. Even drums, 808s, and anything that just needs body and a little bit of grit. This is a really good compressor for that. I use it, and you can watch literally the last video I posted, and you'll see how I use it. I actually use it as a parallel compression. I don't know why I said parallel like that, but I use it as a parallel compression. Now you can get this plugin or a plugin like this with Waves, but I don't think it has the mix knob. That's what I was kind of saying in my last video. So you're lucky here in Logic because you do have a mix knob. So if you want to use it as a parallel compressor, it's very easy to. I would put it on, again, rap vocals, put the mix to about 20%, 15-20%. I'll put the attack on, what's that, 9 o'clock, the release on 3 o'clock, and I'll be doing like minus 10 decibels of gain reduction, just to give it that nice bit of weight. Moving on to the classic VCA, which is similar to the DBX 160. The DBX 160 is widely used for drums. Now, I have it, obviously not the actual real unit. I have a plugin version from Waves, and I don't really enjoy it. I don't know if it's because of it's more, it should be more used for live drums, which obviously I don't really mix that much of. But I just found it with rap and drill drums, it kind of just takes away the punch, takes away that, like, you know, that you want your drums to just slap the listener in the face when you're talking drill or hip hop or rap or whatever, or grime. You want it to just slap the listener in the face, and I feel like maybe it takes away a little bit of the transience too much. But maybe I'm just using it wrong, so it's worth having a little mess around with it when you got some time, just to see how it sounds. But yeah, literally, well, not literally, but usually people use this compressor here on drums. The vintage VCA, which is similar to a SSL compressor. Now, I would much rather use this on my drums. I use this on all of my mixes. I have the Waves version, and I think it's probably the best compressor you can get to do an all-round job on just anything bus related. So your drum bus, your vocal bus, background vocals, your mix bus. This is a very good compressor for all of that. I love using it on my drums. When I do use it on my drums, I'll have the attack on like 3 o'clock, the release on 9 o'clock, just to let them transients through. I'll probably be doing about -3 decibels of gain reduction to really get them drums to slap. But you can use it on, if you've got like an all vocals bus, this will be good for that. Also the mix bus. If you're going to use it on the mix bus, again, I would say the same, a slow attack and a fast release, but do about -1 decibels of gain reduction, I think. Maybe -2 at a push. But yeah, I'd much rather this than the DBX, if I'm honest with you. But luckily, you have the option of both if you are using Logic. Then we have the other 1176. This is the blue stripe. So you have the black one, and then you have this silver one with, it's got like a blue stripe on it. This is like, if the black one is really good for like rap vocals and anything where you want like a good bottom end and a good nice bit of saturation. This is good for I would say singing vocals, where you just want a little bit more brightness in your vocal. This is the compressor I would use. Again, really good if you want to use it as a parallel compression. Same kind of concept as the black compressor. But like I said, it is much better on that top end. So if you want that nice, shiny, bright vocal, even if it's a rap vocal, to be honest, then this is the compressor for you. Then you have the LA2A, another really good all-round compressor. When I say all-round, I mean like on most types of vocals, especially singing vocals, so R&B, even like if you wanted to do a UK wave song or something like that. This is a really good vocal compressor. I would put it at the very top of my chain, just like as the first thing that the signal is going through, to get that dynamic control and to get a nice bit of leveling. Very clean. You're not gonna get like loads of bottom end from it or anything like that. It is just a really good level controller, dynamic controller, whatever you want to kind of refer to it as. The actual LA2A doesn't have, I don't think it has all of these knobs. I think it's just got like a gain reduction and a gain, basically. But my mind's gone blank. Should we Google it? All right, so yeah, I've Googled it. This is our Google right here. So yeah, you get the gain, you get a gain knob, and you get a peak reduction, sorry. And then you also have this like limiter switch. So on the, as you can see here, it's a lot of money as well. So on this Logic version, you do have a lot more options, so you can play around with it a little bit. But yeah, I also like to use this limiter mode, or that same switch that I showed you a second ago, just to make my vocal pop a little bit. So if it's at the end, if this is at the end of my chain, I might just put the limiter mode on and have like 1 decibels of gain reduction. And I'm using that just to make the vocal pop and stand out a little bit more. If it's lacking that kind of energy that I need, then that is my go-to way to do that. Similar to this, most of these compressors, the actual hardware and most of the other plug-in versions of these compressors don't have these knobs here, like the distortion and everything else. So have a little play around, man. See what sounds good for you. These are just the situations in which I would use each one of these compressors and how I use them already. But of course, always experiment, man. Don't just copy what I'm doing every single time. But on that note, this is a bit different. Obviously, we're not actually in a DAW. We're not actually mixing any music. But I did think that this would be useful to a lot of you. I know I've always wondered what these buttons were before actually taking a minute out to actually figure it out. I don't use Logic that much. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, if you liked it in any way, make sure you hit that like button. Drop me a comment on what you want to see next as well, just so I've always got ideas on what you want to see. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.